Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to a new episode of Business Insider. Egypt launched this week its first government data and cloud computing center. His Excellency President Sisi inaugurated the country's first government data and cloud computing center on Sunday, otherwise known as a data hub, emphasizing the country's commitment to significant advancements in information technology. We'll be talking about the significance of the launch of this center, the first in North Africa, the first in the region, the first government data and cloud computing center. We'll also be talking about the role of artificial intelligence in the advancement of the Egyptian economy and in overcoming the current challenges. And we have with us here in the studio Professor of Artificial Intelligence and Vice President of EASY's Act, Dr. Nevine Makram Labib. Dr. Nevine, happy to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
A very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. And EASY's Act is?
The Egyptian Society of Information Systems and Computer Technology.
All right, perfect. So we'll be back with our distinguished guests here in the studio. Allow us first, dear viewers, and Dr. Nevine, to watch a report about our main topic for tonight, and then come back and start our discussion.
Artificial intelligence, and specifically data-driven methods such as machine learning, are a promising radical transformation of economic and social systems worldwide. It helps people make better prediction and decisions. By 2030, the artificial intelligence is forecast to add $15 trillion to the global economy. Currently, artificial intelligence is one of the top priorities of the policy agendas for most of the countries at both national and international levels. Many national government initiatives focus on using artificial intelligence applications for development and economic growth. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi inaugurated the country's first government data and cloud computing center, known as a data hub, emphasizing the country's commitment to significant advancements in information technology. According to the Minister of Information Technology during his speech at the inauguration, the new data hub will serve as the central repository for all ministry data, fortified against cyber threats and unauthorized access. Earlier, Egypt and Italy have agreed to establish a Center for Artificial Intelligence in Cairo, aiming to propel artificial intelligence development and use across Africa. The partnership was cemented during a meeting between the Minister of Communications and Information Technology, Amr Talat, and the Italian Minister of Enterprises and Made in Italy, Adolfo Urso, in Egypt's new administrative capital.
Thank you very much, Abir Hussein, and also Abir Abdelhamid, Rasha Abdelhamid, for this report. And we're back here in the studio with the Professor of Artificial Intelligence, Dr. Nevine Makram Labib. She's also the Director of the Social and Cultural Planning Center at Jamia Hamdard University in India. Now, Dr. Nevine, the significance of the launch of this first center for data and computer clouding in Egypt and in the region?
Actually, it's very important because it emphasizes the fact that Egypt is taking the lead in Africa, and it will help us with the data-driven decision-making methodology that we've been trying actually to benefit of in each and every sector in Egypt. So we're not only relying on the expertise of the decision takers, but we're also providing them with some insights that are very helpful for them in order to take suitable decisions, especially with the currently faced challenges worldwide.
Right. So for you experts in the field of artificial intelligence, that was a big event. And the event was attended by His Excellency, the President himself. So I guess this shows how the state is committed to significant advancements in information technology and on relying on AI on helping economic progress?
Yeah, definitely, because we're stressing on the strategy. We have the strategy for implementing artificial intelligence in all of our institutions. And now we can say that we have the prerequisites. So we worked very hard in order to have the required IT infrastructure and also in providing talented people. We have many governmental initiatives in order to enable the youth to be able to work and to develop systems and programs and also robots. So that was a crucial point. And His Excellency, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi stressed on this point, that we need to focus on capacity building. We need to provide people with more talent and with more, let's say, skills and knowledge in the field of all of the emerging technologies, the artificial intelligence and all of its applications, whether we're talking blockchain or virtual reality or IoT, Internet of Things, especially that we will be needing them very soon in all of the smart cities.
A very important point there. Now, Dr. Nevine, according to the Minister of Information Technology, this data hub will serve as the central repository for all ministry data, fortified against cyber threats and unauthorized access. Talk to us about these points, please.
Okay, that was one of the main challenges, to be able to secure the data. Because in order to be able, again, to analyze and provide some analytics, which is the deep analysis for the decision takers, we have to rely on data. But what about the security and the confidentiality of the data? That was, again, a crucial point and the main challenge. So with this center, we know that our data is safe. That's a very important point, so as to be able to provide the data to all of the ministers and all of the decision takers and policy makers, but we have what we call the access privileges. So each one will be able to access the data based on his or her responsibilities and duties.
Right. Now, the center is to drive the integration of AI across government operations by offering AI and data analysis applications for decision making at every level. Could you give us examples?
Let's say that we'll be applying what we call the data analytics framework. So having these data, we'll be able to, first of all, describe what's going on regarding different situations in various domains, and then trying to analyze the why, the reason why. That's what we call the diagnostic part. And then we will be having some predictions. And that's the main point here, to have some insights, some predictions, some knowledge discovery, as we say. And having these insights, the decision maker can have or can take a better and improved decision. That's what we call the data-driven decision making. So if you take, for example, education, then you will be having all the data related to the youth, the percentage, the requirements in each and every governorate, and then you will be able to have some predictions. What about next year? What about the year after? What about the next 5 years, if we may say? And if we have all this, we can apply some artificial intelligence techniques and have some predictions, some patterns, some insights, so as to plan. What about the different schools? What about the different majors? What about the different tracks in the universities? Are we going to provide the education online due to having a big number of students in the classroom? What about the new specializations? What about the new methodologies related to having interdisciplinary programs? What about some cooperation with other universities? So if we can provide all of these insights and requirements to those who are planning for the educational system, then they will be able to plan in a better way and to take what we call some improved decisions.
Right. Now, Dr. Nevine, the center according to experts, is supposed to function as a centralized national data and disaster recovery center. What does disaster recovery center signify here?
It's kind of a backup for the other center that is in the new administrative capital. Because when we rely on data, then we've got to have, let's say, another version. So that's why they called it for disaster recovery. What if anything happens on Earth? Then you'll be having another version. We call it another version of all of the data. That's all of the data that we'll be relying on for decision making in our country.
Okay. Now, the president stressed the necessity of what he called strong infrastructure investments. What does that mean?
Okay. Again, in order to be able to provide or to implement artificial intelligence technologies, we have some requirements. First of all, the IT infrastructure. So if we have any problems related to IT infrastructure, we won't be able to apply AI or to have what we call the smart city or the smart government, because smart city and smart government is about having kind of an integration between different entities. That's why the first thing to be done is to have a very strong and a robust IT infrastructure.
And how do you like the current IT infrastructure in Egypt? Obviously, there is keenness from the part of the government to expand in this field, but are we catching up to, you know, the most advanced in this field?
I believe we've done efforts here, but we're still facing many challenges, especially that we are working towards having many smart cities. That's why we are focusing now on providing the first requirement, which is having a strong IT infrastructure.
Right. So this is a field that has great prospects for expansion, right? I mean, it's still a young field in Egypt, isn't it?
It's not no, it's not a young field in Egypt, but the point is that we have many advancements. So we've got to be updating our infrastructure, updating our youth with new skills, updating our, let's say, software. So that's a main challenge for us, for those who are working in the field.
Okay. Now, during his speech in the inauguration of this center, His Excellency, the President, also highlighted that Egypt must benefit from its strategic location, particularly as around 90% of the world's submarine cables pass through Egypt, making it a major hub for data transmission and communications. Could you expand on this very important point, Dr. Nevine?
We'll be able providing data and providing some insights not only to Egypt, but also to other countries in North Africa. That's why I started my talk saying that we're taking the lead and we're emphasizing that we're taking the lead in Africa. So if you, for example, take the genome project as an example, then you will find that we're working not only on data related to Egyptians, but we're talking about all of Africa. We'll be providing insights for the other countries as well, so as to help them to take suitable decisions in this field.
And here comes the geographical location again that the President mentioned. It is important to note that according to international statistics, Egypt is second only to the United States in terms of the number of submarine cables crossing the country. Now, the President also emphasized the importance of preparing an integrated, what he called an integrated infrastructure to preserve the status of Egypt as a center for transferring data between East and West.
That's the link I was just explaining, because you've got to have some link between the different entities and between the different countries. But on the other hand, you've got to secure these links. And that's, again, the equation. How can you provide a link? How can you provide smart decisions? But at the same time, you should be securing your data, especially when it comes to other countries.
Right. So we understand that in the past, we used to rely on foreign solutions or foreign storage solutions. Now the data will be will be ours, right? The storage will be ours, the data will be ours for us to benefit from.
The data is ours, but
It's not going to be as costly.
Exactly, but with the center, you've got the data management, how you'll be able to collect, to store, to disseminate, and to make use of these data. That's the point. But we're also now thinking about how to have IT and AI solutions made in Egypt. We had a conference last week. That was the conference of our society, the ISIS Act, and we had a panel discussion. And one of the panelists said this, and it was, I'm quoting it, we need AI made in Egypt, not only AI used in Egypt. That should be our ultimate objective, especially that we have talented youth.
Right, and speaking of the youth, the president emphasized, again during the inauguration of this center, the need to prepare the workforce for the digital age.
Yeah, that's why the Ministry of Telecommunication and Information Technology is working very hard towards providing skills and knowledge to our youth by providing them with the governmental initiatives. So we have students at school learning artificial intelligence applications and data science, and we have other students in our universities. We've got the new programs. We have the UI, the Egyptian University for Informatics in the new administrative capital. So we have many entities nowadays working towards capacity building so as to enable our youth to be able to develop solutions, whether we're talking local market or global market.
And maybe this is what I meant when I was saying that this is a field with a lot of, I was asking you if this was a field with a lot of prospects for expansion, if this was a young field. I mean, certainly in the area of technology in general, there's always room for advancements. And in Egypt, where you have a vastly young population, so I guess prospects are there for big growth if we do it right.
Yeah, and for providing also job opportunities for the youth, because we're always accused of raising unemployment when implementing artificial intelligence. But I perceive it, no, it's in the contrary. We're providing our youth with more job opportunities that were not there. Like, for example, when you talk about the ChatGPT, we have now a new discipline called the prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is about learning how to ask ChatGPT in order to get a proper answer. That's a new job. If you talk about the data science, then now we have the data scientist. It was not there. We only had some data entry operators or database administrators and so on.
What does a data scientist do?
Data scientists actually apply some smart technologies and some AI techniques in order to provide what we call the deep analysis, because analytics is quite different than analysis. So by doing so, we have some insights, we're discovering new patterns, and we're providing these new patterns to decision makers. We used only to provide them with some information based on historical data. But then we discovered that that was not enough. We've got to give them some insights so as to know the predictions. What about next year? What about the 10 coming years and so on? It's not enough to rely on historical data.
You mentioned something very interesting here when you said analysis is different from analytics. Can you explain it, please?
The analysis is merely working on data. So we have data as raw facts, and then we can analyze it, kind of classifying. Like, for example, when you apply the gender, and then you will say male or female, for example, or you apply the different age groups. So you have different classification, but that's mere analysis. And you've got then a report having some information to provide, again, to decision makers. But with analytics, you're discovering new patterns. That's a main difference. So you do some links between the provided data, and you go a little bit deeper in your analysis. That's why it's analytics, not analysis. And by discovering new patterns, you have new knowledge. That's why we call it knowledge discovery. And with new knowledge that is discovered, then again the decision maker can have some insights to rely on.
Now, how easy or difficult it is to study in such a field, the field of artificial intelligence? I mean, what are the main characteristics required in an AI student? I mean, how do we as parents know that our kids will be suited for this type of academic career? Or how would the students themselves, discover themselves, I mean?
They need, first of all, to focus on two important subjects, physics and math.
Okay.
So, for example, in order to be able to study AI, we used to have what we call the discrete mathematics. So by focusing on discrete and mastering discrete mathematics and physics, that was, that made things easy for us to study AI, because that was the two main prerequisite courses.
Okay.
In schools or in universities.
I'm glad that you gave a very direct answer and easy also to an easy path to follow. So if you are good at math and physics, then this might suit you. If not,
this makes things easier, let's say. Otherwise, I mean, you'll be able to study. But when we talk now about ChatGPT, maybe things are getting a little bit different. Like, for example, we used to have the discrete math in order to be able to develop some new systems. But maybe the good news or bad news, we don't know, is that ChatGPT nowadays is developing the system. So programmers and developers, these jobs will be assigned to intelligent systems. We might be able maybe to do other jobs, like the prompt engineering or like other jobs that are emerging. But maybe with time it will be different.
You don't have to be a genius. I mean, because that's the first impression, like, oh, this is a field that needs, brilliant minds and very high IQs and so on. But if I understood you correctly, it just needs somebody who is organized, who is dedicated, and who has a good IQ, but not necessarily a very high IQ.
Who is dedicated, who is interested in the subject, and who is ready to spend the rest of his or her life studying. That's a main point, because you will never finish with studying. Every single day you have a new approach, a new methodology. Like, for example, when we had the AI and then the machine learning and then the deep learning and then the generative learning, which is the ChatGPT, and then other trends are arising. So you've got to be very patient, competent, and ready to study.
A very important point there as well. Now, Dr. Nevine, could you tell us, I mean, in the simplest of ways, if you can, how artificial intelligence now is a key tool for economic progress? It's not a luxury anymore. It's a must for economic development.
It's a must because it will be implemented in each and every function in all of the industries. So you cannot now work without artificial intelligence. If you apply it in healthcare, for example, then it will help you with or help medical doctors with more proper diagnosis. It will help with what we call the personalized medicine and personalized treatments. And by doing so, it will save the country a lot of money. Because now we will not be just, trying some treatments on the patients, but you'll be having more data and more insights about what is more suitable to each and every patient. That's what we call the personalized medicine. And by doing so, you will save time, you will save effort, and you will save money. If you apply the same methodology or, let's say, approach to the rest of the sectors, it's the same story. Whether we're talking agriculture, whether we're talking education. For education, we have, again, the personalized education. So we have the intelligent tutoring systems. You will be able to discover the talents of each and every learner and his capabilities, so as to give his or her some advice on which major to focus on, so as to be able to have a good career, or let's say a suitable career for him or for her. So again, it is personalized. By using artificial intelligence and data, you can provide personalized services, thus saving a lot of money for the country.
Right. Did we talk about cloud computing itself? I mean, what's cloud computing?
Let's say that instead of having the storage devices physically in your organization, you'll be like renting these devices and renting these facilities in another place. So again, it will save you money, and you will have some people, some high caliber people, helping you with the data management, helping you with the storage, helping you with developing systems, instead of having a department and all of these facilities in your organization.
Right. We heard in the report, Dr. Nevine, Egypt's cooperation with Italy in the field of artificial intelligence. I understood that you were in Italy very recently on a mission there. Tell us about the cooperation between Egypt and Italy in the field of AI, and Egypt's partnerships with its neighbors, its friends worldwide in this very important field.
Okay, so let's go back to the SDGs. With the Sustainable Development Goals, we realized that goal number 17 is about having cooperation between different entities and between different countries, and that's what Egypt is focusing on, so as to be able to benefit from others' skills and to be able to, get kind of a better market, or maybe a wider market. I was last week in Rome. I was talking about artificial intelligence. Again, it was a conference about women in science. So each one of us was presenting her specialization and the reason why she got specialized in this field. So I was talking about artificial intelligence and how I got interested in the medical fields, and what about the mega projects related to this discipline in Egypt, and what about the currently faced challenges and the potential solutions. That was my contribution there in the conference.
Okay. Before I ask you about further cooperation between Egypt and Italy, or Egypt and some of its partners, I wanted to ask you about the challenges. So what are the challenges that face us today, face our economy, that where using AI will help strongly in overcoming them?
I believe the main contribution of artificial intelligence when we talk about economic crisis is the prediction, the predictive analytics. So maybe if we have better prediction, more accurate predictions, if I may say, then the decision takers will be able to have improved decisions. And on the other hand, with artificial intelligence, we can provide the policymakers with more knowledge that is being transferred from maybe other countries or other experts in the domain. So we will be able to benefit from both, having expertise, more expertise, and having more insights. And with more expertise and more insights, we'll be able to have more innovative solutions to the currently faced crisis.
Yes. What are the countries that we have strong cooperation with in the field of AI at the moment?
We have different projects with different countries, whether we're talking about the Arab countries or about Europe. And again, we're focusing on applying or benefiting from the SDG 17. So you'll find that we rely on different techniques borrowed from other countries. But again, let's go back to the point of AI made in Egypt. That's our dream now as AI scientists, because the country already is educating the youth, and they're very talented. They're working in multinational projects and multinational companies, but we need Egypt to take the lead again. So we need to provide kind of a supportive environment for the youth so as to make them implement all of these techniques and all of these systems in Egypt, so as to make it made in Egypt, not only used in Egypt.
Okay. What about our brilliant minds that have migrated, years ago and are occupying or playing an influential role in the world of AI, and they are scattered across the world? Are there any initiatives or any attempts to benefit from them?
I guess there was an initiative maybe 4 or 5 years ago of getting together with the scientists that are already living abroad. And we discovered that the Egyptian scientists were very keen to come back and help their countries in the form of some events and some knowledge transfer programs. So maybe we can start another initiative in the field of AI, focusing on AI, because we have many talented people that are, for example, working in the States. We're very proud that our youth are working in mega projects. But on the other hand, we need to benefit more out of having them in the country, so as to be able to face the current challenges.
It is to note that this center is in the Ain Sokhna Road, so it's very close to Suez, and the Suez Canal. So the geographic location, again, we must always go back to the point of the importance. This is, it's been God's gift to Egypt. I mean, this location. So how best can we benefit from this location in AI?
In AI, how to benefit from this location is to be able to make kind of an integration between the different entities. And that's what the president emphasized during his speech. So let's take it that we'll be able to benefit from the data, we'll be able to benefit from the location, we'll be able also to benefit from different facilities provided by cloud computing and from the cooperation with other countries. But taking in mind or taking into consideration that we need, again, to take the lead not only by providing the data and having a great center that is the first of its kind, but also of having our talented people work towards developing AI systems in Egypt.
So is progress here more about pouring in more investments, more money, more financing, or is it about human resources and the human element in general? What do we need more here?
The human element. You tackled a very important point. We need a new mindset. That's what we really need. If we have a better environment for our youth, then I think that we'll be able to benefit out of their skills more than what we have right now.
Okay. And do you see the youth, generally speaking, interested in the field of AI, or do you see them still leaning towards more classical, the classical approach of, a civil engineer or a mechanical engineer and so on?
Now, in the last 3 years, I see that they're very much interested in the field of AI, whether to go and study in AI faculties or to join interdisciplinary programs. Like, for example, you will have AI in medicine, AI in engineering,
in business,
AI in business, AI in media, and so on. So they know that AI, as you mentioned a while ago, is a must.
And the reason, I asked this question because you said the human element, in your view, is more important than just pouring money. So here it's about the change of the mindset, as you said. So is it the mindset of the youth or the mindset of the elder generations, or what do you mean by the change of the mindset?
The elder generation. Not the youth, because the youth are already very much interested in the field, and they have a new mindset.
Yeah, by default. Yeah.
Sorry to mention, but that's the case.
Yeah, of course. And you know, this generational gap always makes it's an important point here. So how can we bridge these generational gaps so as to help our country?
Maybe we need to have better communication channels with them. Like, for example, when we have some events for awareness, and then you start discussing with them what about the requirements, their needs, their ambitions, and so on. And you discover that they're genius. Because sometimes they're accused of not being that competent. But that's not the point. Maybe they have a different way of showing that they're competent. Maybe they have different competencies.
And maybe they just want to see the opportunity,
Exactly.
And once they feel that, you know, what they make, what they do makes a difference, then they will stun you. They will positively. They will stun you in a positive manner. So this is an area, AI, as mentioned by the president, that you know, families need to encourage their.
Yes, they need to motivate the students. They need to motivate their kids or their sons and daughters. Okay, in a different way, and they need to be convinced. That's why we need to focus more on the awareness events, not only for the students, but for their parents. Sometimes the parents are not really aware of what AI is, and if it is really beneficial, and they keep on asking, is it better than...
A lot of skepticism, yeah.
Exactly, is it better than joining civil engineering or than joining the medical field? Of course, all of these fields are very important, but sometimes you need to allow the student to choose.
So the upcoming era is, hopefully, for our country's benefit, will be the AI era in Egypt, for the young,
and
for this very young, talented population.
Yes, and it already started. You'll be amazed of many graduation projects and many startups in Egypt.
Good, and we hope to see more and more. Dear viewers, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for tonight here on Business Insider. On behalf of you, we thank very much Dr. Nevine Makram Labib, Professor of AI and the Vice President of ISIS and the Director of the Social and Cultural Planning Center at Jamia Hamdard University in India. Thank you very much, Dr. Nevine.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you. Pleasure is all mine.
Thank you. And thank you, dear viewers, for watching us. This is Mohammed Abdelrahim, and this is Good Night.